Hi everybody, I'm going to show you a Strat that I've got on the bench today. This is a custom built Strat. It's a parts caster that's come from a luthier by the name of Hayes, but it's had a total rewire since it was built, and it's had some bare knuckles pickups put in there, but suddenly there's a problem. One of the pickups has gone down and the customer doesn't know what's happened, so he brought it in. But I wanted to show you a little thing first about why Strats, or 22 fret Strats, are designed wrong. You see that lip? That's how the 22 fret neck is designed. They haven't changed the body shape at all. And it kind of defeats the object of the Stratocaster, which is meant to be a very, very easy guitar to service and work on, and it's totally modular. Because when you put that neck in there, you can't get the scratch plate out. Doesn't matter what you do, it traps the scratch plate because you can't move it back because the hole end's there. So you can't slide this back and lift it out easily. You have to take the neck off to work on it. So that presents us with another problem, is that if you're messing around with it, obviously you need to be able to produce some sound for these pickups so that you can hear what's working and what's not. And here's the trick I was going to show you, and this may be something you're familiar with, but I use this quite a lot for working on guitars where I'm dealing with electronics but I don't have them strung up, and it's basically just to use a tuning fork as a surrogate string. And what I'm going to do is I've got a high gain sound. I'm just going to switch that on. Okay, so you can hear it's now on the bridge pickup, everything's turned all the way up. Now you can already hear there's probably an earth missing somewhere. Now I've just hit the tuning fork and I'm holding it over the pickup. Now of course it's going to create a pure tone. I use a high gain sound, so I know I've definitely got something going on. And then in the next position, not much coming out of that middle pickup. Oh, well, we've definitely got a problem there. That may be the pickup itself. Nothing. Not a thing. Okay? Let's go straight to the neck pickups. We know the middle's out. Okay, so the neck pickup's working. Let me just turn that down. Okay, I've already got all the screws out of this just to save a little bit of time. So let's have a look at what's underneath, shall we? Okay. Now, right, actually you can see some obvious problems here. Not that they'll be causing the fault that you can hear, but let me see if I can get the camera in a little bit on the scratch plate here. Well, that'll focus on that, okay. Right, firstly, with Strat pickups, if you're wiring a Strat, let me just get that back into the middle of the frame so you can see it. If you're going to be wiring a Strat, there's no point doing this, okay, because you're not going to put a Strat pickup in, you're not going to take it out and put it in anything else. So you may as well cut your wires so you don't have all this. There's no reason to leave them long. You're not going to put them somewhere else. Secondly, we've clearly got wires spliced together and earths taped up this way. All those earths should be, let me show you, they should all be onto the back of the pot together. And that's what we call star earthing. So that all the earth points, that the earth should come directly from the jack, directly to the back of this pot, and all the earths that we're using should spread from that single point, because otherwise you're going to create earth loops and that's going to create even more problems. Okay, so let's look at our other issues. Now have a look at the back of that pot here. In fact, no, take a look at that one here. Can you see that? Let me find something to, it's this one here. Okay, now you can see that the solder on here didn't get hot enough. You see that joint there? That's zoomed all the way in, unfortunately. It's going to be difficult to show you any further. I'll try and cut the frame down when I mix this video together, and you can see it's the same here. This one here, the joint's not really flowed properly. So while the joint may be operative and it may be okay, that's not really very good. The solder's never really got hot enough, and with modern solder you've got to fly it to about 400 degrees C. I'm still using some older stuff that I can do a little bit less of, but and it's probably the same on these switches here, on the switch joints, and you can see that Can you see it on the switch joint? not great, not a lot of solder on the joint. It's not really properly tinned, and this one here is not too great either. There's a little bit too much wire exposed as well, hanging off the edge of that joint. So what we're going to do, rather than try and chase the fault, I think what we're going to do is entirely rewire the scratch plate and see if the fault disappears, because we could chase the fault around for ages. My guess is that actually one of these earths is not connected, which is why that's making that row, because obviously it's not centrally starred to here. So we'll totally rewire the guitar, and I'm pretty sure that the problem's going to go away. And I'll show you how it looks once it's wired. Okay, so we're back. This has been rewired, and we do our test again, make sure we've got it right. That one's working, middle one is working, neck pickup is working, volume control works. Now it's a bit noisy, there's no strings on it, and I've got a huge amount of gain on at the amp, but I want to show you how it's wired underneath, because that's the key to getting these things to work properly. Right, let's turn the amp down so I can pull the cable. Let's just lift this up, turn it over, and show you where the problems were. First things first, the middle pickup was not working, and it wasn't anything to do with the wiring here. That's not that wasn't what the problem was. Actually, the problem was the joints on the pickup itself. They had actually failed and had sort of just gone dry, so reflowing those and then actually removing all the solder and starting again with those cured the problem. The coil was not broken, which was great, because that would have been a total rewind of a very expensive bare knuckles pickup. Now you can see that, if I show you with the screwdriver where we're looking at, let's try and bring this in a bit. There we go. Okay, so you can see now all the earths from the pickups are wired to the back of the volume pot. The earth coming from the, and this is the earth wire actually in this red shield, strange enough, is the earth wires linked together from the bridge and the jack socket are also going to that same point. So that's what I'm referring to earlier as a star earth. So all your earth points go to a central place and spread outwards in straight lines. Now this is a silver foil backed scratch plate. So the scratch plate, and I'll get the meter out here just to show you something. You can see that I haven't wired earth wires across yet. That's showing total connectivity. Okay, all our earths are connected together via this material. So consequently, I haven't actually laid earth wires across the components, because that would actually create a loop, and that earth loop would then act as a radio antenna and make the guitar more noisy, not less. And the other thing you'll see that I've done, and if I just wind that back out a little bit, the wires are dressed together. Not that that makes a great deal of difference, but it's the only way it's going to fit it back inside the body cleanly. And I've cut the wires to exactly the lengths they need to be. There's no point with a Strat scratch plate of having any excess wire. You're not going to do anything else with these pickups other than have them in a Strat. So you might as well just clip those leads nice and short and get them nice and cleanly onto your switch tabs. Notice as well, okay, how much different the solder looks. You can see that the solder joints on here are pretty shiny, and on here as well. That solder has been flowed at about 410 degrees with the solder station. A lot of standard soldering irons that you pick up in say B&Q or somewhere like that may not be really hot enough to flow solder onto the back of a pot where you've got a large piece of metal and it's going to draw all the heat away. So there you go. it's perfectly well working and a lot more tidy, and we can just simply lay that back in there. That's dropped in nicely, and put the guitar back together.